Hello. Hello. Do. That's not what I wanted to do. Mute that. That up. Hello, everyone. No. What? What? What do you mean, no? That's not exactly updated, is it? Hold on. Link, please. Link to what? What's up? So, obviously, can you fucking hear that? I'm gonna be pretty annoyed if you can. Do you hear that? I feel like I just watched a parody. Do you hear that, like, noise outside? Not happy with John's ending. What do you think, Jelly? Oh, I mean... God, a lot of mixed emotions right now. The season, I think it could have been fixed. Compared to the rest of the seasons, it's not as good as the rest. I mean, that's just the way it is. I still like it, but it's just not as good as the other ones. The reason is because they just didn't have enough time. 6 episodes is not enough time to tell this story, and that's the main problem with it. If they had, like, HBO wanted them to go 10 episodes. If they would have went 10 seasons. If they would have done 10 seasons, I think it would have been much better off because things would have been able to build upon each other. And it would have been rushed like it was. Because you think about it, in a span of like 4 episodes, Dany pretty much starts to go mad right after the Great War. So, yeah, 13. HBO did want him to go 10, but they didn't want to. Like, David and Dan did not want to. The actors, I mean, honestly, working on a show for 10 years, a lot of them just get sick of playing the same character. So, yeah. Yeah, it seemed like they set up a lot of things for... I didn't know what to put in the background, so I just put them in a random video of Jorah killing people. So... John killing Daenerys, John killing Daenerys is one of those things that I think, once again, if you had multiple seasons to build that up and really, like, stress how the relationship was so close and they were so loving, it would have hit a lot harder this season. But since it started in season 7, or at the end of season 7, their love really grew at that point. Yeah, there wasn't, I don't know. Turn that down just a bit. Yeah, they set up for a lot of, like, prequel. I mean, you could do a lot of sequels. You have Jon pretty much living in the north now. You have Arya going west. The thing that annoyed me the most was Sansa. I don't understand why she insisted to be Queen of the North. That annoyed me the most, to be honest. I was like, oh my god, Sansa, could you just, like, stop? Bran is literally your brother. Like, come on, Sansa. That pissed me off the most. Because then it just doesn't sound right. Like Bran, King of the Six Kingdoms, Seven Kingdoms sounds much better. That's my that right there. That pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was supposed to be serving the Night's Watch. He just left to be free with his buddy. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, the Unsullied left, so in reality, if he really wanted to, he could go south, but I don't think he does. And honestly, this is how it's gonna end in the books too. I think so. I just think they just needed more episodes. I mean, I think that's pretty much what would have fixed it. But there's not much he can do, I guess. I'm surprised they didn't show where they said Drogon brought Daenerys' body to Essos. I thought they were gonna show where they were gonna drop the body off or something. I heard they were gonna drop her body off in the north. But can someone tell me the point of Jon leaving the Night's Watch? He didn't kill the Night King. He didn't get the throne. He didn't become Warden of the North. He went back to the Wall, for fuck's sakes. The reason why Jon had to leave the Night's Watch is if he didn't, he would never have been able to convince Daenerys to go to the north and help them fight. That's pretty much the point of Jon leaving, was to pretty much start being the game of Thrones in a way, to lead the people of the north. That's what I took from it. Yeah, the small council at the end, that was really interesting. You had Sam, you had Bronn. I honestly didn't think Bronn was going to make it out alive. I'm glad to see he is now he's got his castle. He's the master of coin. I mean, great. That's, you know, Jon was the whole series was the messenger to Daenerys. I mean, I don't know. But bless Grey Worm's going to the Isle of Noth or whatever. Yeah, he's going there because Missandei wanted to go there. Like I said, there's this. If they really wanted to do a bunch of sequels, they could easily do a bunch of sequels. But yeah, I mean, from what I've gathered from interviews with George, is that Daenerys is going to die. I don't know if she's going to go mad or whatever, but she's going to die. Jon's still going to live at the end of A Song of Ice and Fire. It's all because Jon. What happened to Drogon? They just said he was going east. Well, he wants to go. I mean, I don't know. The show seems so carefully written through 7 seasons. It seemed to run into a wall and couldn't figure out, and they just slot together. Like I said, I mean, the 8th season isn't the greatest season in the world. Still liked it, but like the people who are like petitioning to like rewrite the show, like they're not gonna do it. Like I don't see the point in trying to petition for something that won't happen. Like the actors don't want to do it anymore. It's done. You just have to accept the show's over. This is what we got. So if I had to rank the seasons, yeah, let's see a season 9. I would love that. Can you revise full episodes? I love David turned down more episodes and even another season. Yeah, they should have really done 10 seasons. That would have made way more sense, but no way, the petition is stupid. I think it's stupid too. Makes no sense. I don't think they could have written it any better, because with a 6 episode cap, you can't really do anything. Like you're stuck. Like you have to rush things. That's what really is what makes this season the worst one, because it had to be rushed. How do I feel about Bran being king? I didn't mind Bran being king. I thought it made the most sense. He knows everything, so he should be the king. This has a lot to do with the fact George R. R. Martin had years to finish the last 2 books and could have gotten done. Yeah, Winds of Winter. I honestly think Winds of Winter is done. He just didn't release it until the show was over, but that's my opinion on the matter. But like those books are like super complicated. There's like so many other characters. It's crazy. But yeah, even just like if you're gonna if you want to do 8 seasons, even just making every episode 10 episodes, like that would have been good. But whatever. What do I think about Stream unavailable? What? Oh my lord in heaven right now. Hello? Can people hear me now? Or is it still being done? There. You know what? You know what? Uh I guess this is what you guys are gonna see, my background. What a fucking joke. God damn. YouTube sometimes, man, it just pisses me the fuck off. Alright. So where was I? You can just see my background full of stuff of randomness. But hey, why not? Yes, vicinity for policy violations. What a joke. What an absolute joke. And the video is literally uploaded to YouTube. Like what? Like I have nothing to say about that. But whatever. What was I saying? So Daenerys and John moment. Honestly, like I liked it a lot. That was I don't know what to. It's like I'd have to watch it again, but like I feel like it would have hit a lot harder if I didn't already know it was going to happen, because people like to spoil things for other people for no reason. So I kind of already knew, or someone told me that's what was going to happen last week on the last stream, so I was pretty salty about that. And then people in the comments on videos I post throughout the week have really hammered that home, so that was great. I was pretty happy about that. But it was really, I can't believe John did it, honestly. That's the thing. John is, what did they say? Love is the death of duty. See, John is one of the few characters in the show that has been able to just, he does what is right. He goes on, what do you play on Steam? Not much, honestly. I have a Game of Thrones game if you guys want to watch that, but it's pretty trash. I'm not gonna lie. But like John is one of those guys who he does what's right. So like with Ygritte back in season 3, he could have just ran away with her and forget about the North, forget about the Wall, but he didn't. He went back to the Night's Watch because that's what honor made him do, or whatever. And that's what he did with Daenerys, which I mean takes a strong-willed man to do that. So it's hard. I don't know. I don't know. I think most people in that situation wouldn't do it. Like John, like they didn't really do. They did a good job of last season, season 7 too, going that John really loves Daenerys, and even in this season, they tried that. They kind of nailed that home because every time he's like, "I love you, you are my queen," all that joke, all that stuff, and I don't know why, but my recruit is okay, sure, but yeah, John, I just like if I was, God, it's hard for John. I honestly, John should have. If I was John in that situation, I would have wanted Drogon to kill me in that moment. Like, I think in a way John was hoping to die. Because, I mean, he just killed the person he loved the most. And then he has to sit there and think about it. Like, putting him to the wall, like, in my mind, is so much more worse than just dying. Because you have to live with the fact you killed the person you love the most for the rest of your life. That, to me, is a worse fate than death. Is a worse fate than death. That's my opinion on the matter, but that's what, like, I don't know. Exactly. Like, Drogon did not kill Jon. Like, if I was Jon, I would have been annoyed. Like, I would have wanted to die in that situation. He killed her for the good of the rest of the people. Like, I don't know. I think most people would have just went with Daenerys and tried to change her, but he couldn't. But he knew he couldn't, or because Tyrion convinced him. And I mean, in a way, Tyrion, in a lot of ways, and Tyrion even says that. I thought that was interesting in the episode. Tyrion says how he loved Daenerys. I didn't know that he like had that much love. Like, I didn't know if he meant like romantically or like what he meant by that, but I thought that was interesting. Yeah, it's over. It's all over. There's a prequel coming out next year. It's going to be about the Long Night, pretty much going over how the Night King was made and that sort of thing. I think they're probably going to do. I heard there's something about doing Valyria right before it, like the Doom happened to it. But and they just rushed all this and ended like that. Yeah, they rushed it. I mean, that's the main problem. I think what they were trying to do was all right, but they just need more time to build it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they honestly could do a couple sequels if they really wanted to. Like I said, you have Arya going to the west. You could have Jon Snow adventures in the north. I'm surprised Jon made it out alive. To be honest, I can't believe he didn't die. But I don't know. I have interest in Robert's Rebellion. I don't think they're going to be doing Robert's Rebellion just because it has such an effect on the TV show. That, I mean, one of the biggest twists in the TV show is that Jon's a Targaryen, and if you do Robert's Rebellion, you'll know that Jon's a Targaryen. But they might do it. I mean, I would like to see a Dunk and Egg prequel personally. Like, they have George has a book called A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's really good. I would like to see that personally, but I don't know if they'll do that or not. 4 or 5 episodes is all it would have taken. Yeah, I think if you would have done a couple more episodes, it would have been better. Like if they needed the money, I think they could have, maybe started in like a GoFundMe, and I would have happily donated to have a longer season. Okay, like I would have. But the Long Night series does take place in Essos. Some of it does. That's what George has said so far. Do Jon out with the wildlings and rehash the Night King? I think Drogon destroyed the throne because that was the murder of his mother. Dany died for that, pretty much. Even though the last season was better than this season. Yeah, last season was a lot better. I think the reason why I liked last season better was because the Dany Jon moments were so good. I don't know. I like those. I like the interactions between the two characters. I think that pretty much made the season for me. How does the Yeah, I'm surprised how many people survived, to be honest. Like, there was a lot who survived. Like, a lot. She touched the throne, then lights out. Yeah, she didn't even get to sit on the throne. I mean, that's the word. It's kind of ironic that, yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I thought. Like, she's not gonna sit on it. Like, oh my god, couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'm drained as well. I really don't. If I had to, I wrote some stuff down. If I had to rank the seasons in this, like all the seasons, so my favorite season is season 4, which I think most people would agree is the best season in the show. You get the Mound versus the Viper. You get the Watchers on the Wall battle sequence, siege thing. Tyrion kills Tywin. I mean, it's just one of the best seasons in television, to be honest. Then my second favorite season is season 6. A lot of people say season 6 is bad. I love season 6. I thought it was the perfect pace because it was quick enough, but it wasn't rushed like season 7 and 8 were. And you had the Battle of the Bastards. You had Winds of Winter, which is a great episode. Like, especially that intro to where to the Sept of Baelor being blown up. That is some good fucking television right there. You get Jon being revived. You have Hodor. I really like season 6. It's one of my favorites. You got Ramsay. I fucking love season 6, honestly. Then season 3 would probably be the next, just because the Red Wedding was super shocking. It was one of the few things I was never spoiled for, which is surprising. Like, pretty much this show I've been spoiled for everything. Like Ned Stark, Joffrey dying, just everything. So that was one of the few times I actually got to enjoy being surprised. After season 3, oh, it's tough then, honestly. Season 1, I guess. Season 1 has, just because I already knew Ned Stark was gonna die. God should have ended with Cersei's smile after the Sept explosion. Honestly, I think it should have ended. I always assumed that in episode 3, when they fought the Night King, I always assumed they would lose. And then the final, the last battle was going to happen in King's Landing. And pretty much most of the characters would die in the battle between the living and the dead. That's how I always assumed it was going to be. Yeah, it's been shown. But that never happened? I don't know. That's how I would have. That's how I assumed. That's how I thought it should have been. Is they would have lost the battle in Winterfell, and then they would have to retreat to King's Landing, and Cersei would just have to help, because if she didn't, they'd be fucked. I guess my plan was that so they'd back up, and then Daenerys, understanding hey, we need Cersei or we're gonna lose, she would actually bend the knee to Cersei, just because to save the rest of Westeros, pretty much. But that never happened. So they didn't really all die, though, did they? I don't know. There wasn't a lot. Yeah, there's 2 deaths in this last episode, I think. I want to say, I won't say. You already know, but you figure it out. Probably my favorite episode from this season. You got exams tomorrow? I hope that you don't stop making videos. No, I probably won't. I don't know. I got a couple offers to join like a network, and I still haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. I'm not sure. Like, there's this one network that's offered me to join them. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it or not. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing, videos wise, is I'm going to do probably the GOT prequel, obviously. Blood Moon, or whatever they're going to call it. Westworld, because why not? There's also a show on HBO. I saw the trailer for it after Game of Thrones. It's starring Lin-Manuel or whatever and James McAvoy, and it looks like a grown-up Harry Potter series. So that looks interesting. I might do a couple videos on that. Amazon's doing a Lord of the Rings prequel, so I probably will do videos on that because once again, that's kind of the same genre, Game of Thrones. I think it would work well. Netflix is doing a Witcher series, which The Witcher is pretty much so like it has a bunch of mythical creatures in it. Yeah, his Dark Materials. That looks really good actually. I'm looking forward to that quite a lot. And then the Netflix has the Witcher series, and The Witcher is pretty much it has a lot of mythical creatures like griffins and golems and stuff like that, but it's like Game of Thrones. Like it has sex, it has violence, it has that stuff in it, but it's more mythical creatures than Game of Thrones is. So it's kind of like Game of Thrones, but it's like more fantasy elements in it. So I probably will do a couple videos on that. I mean, there'll still be videos to be made. I promise you guys that. But since I closed my theories and similarities with scenes to my memory was in trouble, I don't know why I expected Wolseer to come back. The feminism ruin. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything on that. So yeah, there's a lot of good. And then there's a TV show or a movie coming out called Dune, which is kind of known as a adult Star Wars. So I'll probably do a couple videos on that. So there's still videos that are going to be made. But will it ever be to the point of what I did for Game of Thrones? I don't know. It depends how much I get into it. Because Game of Thrones was really it's a I really don't know how to describe it. It was a show that just like people might not like the 8th season, but to me it's still one of the best TV shows ever made. It's just the way it is. Like I can forgive what season 8 did cuz I mean like cuz before that the seasons were incredible. But that's just me. I understand people have their own opinions about about things like that. So Bran the Broken is kind of a lame. Well, it's kind of playing on Bran the Builder. But it's whatever. Bran the Broken. If I was living under that, I would be embarrassed. Bran the Broken. That still annoys me though. 6 kingdoms. King of 6 king. Oh god. King of the 7 king. It just rolls off the tongue when it's 7. Played the whole game throughout season 8. Rip Jon Snow. Yeah, I think Jon Snow kind of wanted to die. If I had to rank the episodes this season, probably episode 2 is the best episode. It just is. Now, only complaint about episode 2 is that Jon Snow. I just never felt like Jon Snow and Daenerys had a moment together in this that really that meant something this season. Like when he told her about him being, Aegon, they always just cut it off. And I'm just like, why? Like I always have to sit through all this other bullshit. And like the only thing I wanted to watch was Jon and Daenerys and the reactions to him being Aegon Targaryen, first of his name or sixth of his name, rightful king of the Seven Kingdoms, all that. But then probably honestly, I really liked episode 3. A lot of people don't like how the Night King died, but I think like I was watching it the other day and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than episode 5, so I know that. And especially at the end with the piano, that really, I don't know, that music and then just them kind of playing it up as they're gonna lose or something. It's great. I really liked that. And probably episode 1, just because episode 1 was really good. You get the Jon being told that he's king or whatever. And then probably then. I don't know after that, honestly. The first half of the season was a lot better than the second half, I'll say that much. But probably I guess episode 6 would be the fourth best. I don't know, honestly. But Bran asked about the dragon. He said, "I'll find him." That's a good point. I don't know why they end. Like, why would they end it? Like, I feel like they want to do like a sequel. Honestly, it's what it seems like. I didn't mind Tyrion's reaction. I thought that was a great scene right there. There was part of me that was hoping that like Cersei would just kind of like wake up or something, but that didn't happen. But I mean, obviously they got crushed by stone, so. Yeah, Jon should have been king. I like the thing. It's hard for me to be like fine with Jon going back to the north. I know he's probably going to be the happiest back there because he doesn't have to deal with the bullshit like he would in King's Landing. So I know he'll be happy there, but it's when when you think like when you think he's gonna be king for at least I don't know 4 seasons and he doesn't become king, it's slightly disappointing. But I know Jon's character would be happier there than he would be in King's Landing. So if he's happy, I'm happy, I guess. Honestly, I'm curious where the Dothraki are. Are they just gonna stay in King's Landing now, or are they gonna like? What are they gonna do? Are they going back to Essos, or are they just gonna hang out? No one seems to know. What's the deal here? I don't know. What is the deal? You saw them boarding the ship's galley. Did they? I know the Unsullied were the Dothraki. Grey Worm sailed off to the Isle of Noth, so we'll see. Like I said, they set up a lot of sequels. If they wanted to, they could easily. There's a lot of things they can do, pretty much. Well, yeah, like it doesn't feel like an okay. So like in Breaking Bad, there was okay. So Breaking Bad's like a lot less of a like. There's not as many characters, so they were able to close the door pretty easily. Like once you killed Walter, okay, boom, done. And then Sorry if you didn't know the ending to Breaking Bad. But and then Jesse drove off, and then you pretty much Jesse's the only one that has like another, is doing something. All the other characters have pretty much their storylines have been shut down. In this, it seems like there's so many possibilities for everyone. Like John is in the north now. Arya's going west. Bran's staying in King's Landing. Sansa's, queen of the north. Like what? There's so many things now that like I don't know. They have a lot. Like I would not be surprised if they tried to do a sequel some time down the road, like 10 years from now. If HBO isn't doing too hot, they can easily throw out Jon Snow sequel. Boom. Or something like that. So, there's a lot of possibilities to what they can do. And I mean, we haven't even discovered Essos yet. There's so much crazy crap over in Essos, and like Game of Thrones for the most part was centered around Westeros and the Night King and all that. So Drogon takes her to be revived. Ooh, like he takes her to the Ashai or whatever. Subscribers will cancel HBO. I'm not gonna cancel my HBO, but I mean, I'm probably not gonna watch it as much. Probably not. Like I said, if down the road and they have a decent team behind it, maybe. But honestly, wouldn't be shocked if Dany did survive and she's enough. Yeah, I could see that. She gets brought to Ashai where the Red Priestess is like whatever about Kingsley. Worship the Lord of Light. They drop her off there. They revive Dany, and Dany's like, "What the shit, John?" And then she, basically starts back over from season 2. Grant builds an army, heads back to Westeros, fucks shit up. Starting with Sansa, that little bitch. Yeah, they probably are. I don't think anyone wants to. They, like, after 8 years, or what, 10 years of filming? No. You get sick of playing the same character over and over. And, like, actors usually want to. He was done with God for now. I don't know. I've always been told never to say never, but you never know. Millie didn't want to end. She said it so many times. Well, I think when you're in the middle of it, you can be like, okay, I want to end. It's like when you're in school. It's like, I want to end. But then when you get to the end of it, you're like, oh shit, it's about to end. What am I gonna do now? And actors, I mean, most of their time they're unemployed. So having a TV show and steady income coming in is very nice. But those guys made a shitload of money off that show. Like I think the lady who plays Cersei, Lena Headley or whatever her name is, made like $1 million off episode 5. So that's a good question. There's probably a lot. Amelia is gonna be in quite a few other things, I would assume, because she is. Kit will get his opportunities too, just because he's Jon fucking Snow, so he'll get some more work. Sansa or Sophie Turner will get. She's been doing pretty good. She's Dark Phoenix, so she's rolling right now. Peter Dinklage will pretty much get any role, any dwarf role he wants at this point. There's no doubt in my mind. Amelia, Kiss, Sophie, we'll see everywhere. Yeah, Lena will probably be in a couple other things too. I mean, I think you really saw throughout the seasons, you really saw just how great of an actress she actually is. Yeah, Peter's gonna get all the dwarf roles. If he wants one, he's gonna get it. I promise you that. Macy Williams has been in a couple things too. I think she was in a Netflix show like I Boy or something. It was really trash, but hey, a job's a job, you know. Other than that, though, I don't know how many of these other characters we're gonna ever see again. I'm looking at him on my screensaver. Theon, Alfie Allen, he should get a couple more roles. He's great. His story arc in this is top tier. Yeah, Peter Dinklage was in Avengers. That's pretty sweet. You get. I didn't know Alfie Allen was Lily Allen's brother. Yeah, they mentioned something how they wanted to get his sister to play um, his sister in the show, but I don't think that ever happened. So yeah, Nikolai Costa-Waldau, he should get some roles too. He really should. So is Targaryen dead? Kind of. John's not supposed to, you know, have kids and stuff, but he's not supposed to have kids and stuff, but you never know. Honestly, like I said before, I think John has a fate worse than death, having to deal with the fact that he killed the person he loved the most. So I don't know if he'll ever be able to get over it. Like, this is twice now, where, like, in a way, he saw Ygritte died, and I don't know. It's hard. Like, honestly, I feel the worst for John in this situation, just because he's still alive. I think John as the character would have wanted to die in that situation. It's like when he killed Ygritte, or when Ygritte died in season 4, and she shoots Tormund with a crossbow, and Tormund's like, "I should have thrown you from the top of the wall, boy." And John's like, "Yeah, you should have." And I think John is kind of in that same state of mind right now. But you never know. He might find like a redheaded chick, and she also has like streaks of blonde. I was hoping you could do like a Tormund sequel, but now you can't because I think the actor who plays Tormund would be willing to come back, but I don't know if Kit would be. That's the thing. I was hoping for just like a Tormund sequel. Anyone notice that? Notice when Danny said a girl couldn't said a girl count to 20 couldn't count to 20 times. Honestly, give it 10 years and there'll be toxicity. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 10 years and I didn't expect Bran to become king. I you know I didn't know what to make of that. Honestly, like I thought it would have that wouldn't have been my choice, but I don't know. Felt so bad for the dragon, quite sad. He gently carried her away. Yeah, like just picked her up. I mean, you could even have like sequels in Essos with Dario Naharis. Like, cause he never came back to. I always assumed he was going to be coming back to Westeros to help Dany. That never happened. Being funny if Drogon went on and ate her later. I thought that I heard that because like I said, I was spoiled last week for the episode, so I was pretty salty about it. But anyways, I thought I thought Dany was gonna be carried over to the north, and I thought John was gonna like see her body for some reason at the end. I don't know why. I was just gripping for things. I'm surprised they didn't show where Drogon brought Dany, though. I'm also surprised no one's like. I thought more people would be annoyed about the. I thought more people would be annoyed at Sansa for just like, no, you might be my brother, I don't care. North is mine, you can't have it. Like, no one seems to care about that. Was I the only one annoyed about that? They would have showed Drogon. Yeah, like either that or burying or burning or something. I can't believe they just kind of ended it. And then Bran said, "Oh, I'll go find him," and that was the end of that. Like, I don't. What the shit? Should have shown Drogon flying over Valyria. Yeah, something. Yeah, Sansa. I don't. That just. That bothered the shit out of me, honestly. That like she like no, we're gonna be our own kingdom, and Bran had to just be fine with it. King of the Six Kingdoms does not sound as good as King of the Seven Kingdoms. That's my whole point. That's the only reason I'm annoyed with it. Other than that, like Bran is a Northerner. Like I don't understand. Like Sansa's. Like that is literally your brother. What more do you want, lady? Are they going to kill Drogon or try to keep the dragons alive? I don't think anyone can kill Drogon at this point unless they have a scorpion. But who knows? Bran should have warped and found Drogon. That's what he's going to do, but it just never. They never showed it. They just had him leaving the small council chambers, so that was a bit surprising. Well, what the hell was the point of the scene with the final small? I think they just wanted to show that, like, okay, now things they're kind of going back to normal, and just because the Cersei's dead and Daenerys is dead doesn't mean there isn't problems left to rule in the kingdom. It's like when Robert overthrew the Mad King. Like just because you win a war doesn't mean everything's going to be fine now. There's a lot of problems that still have to be, have to be figured out. That kind of thing. Is Drogon going to look up Jon Snow after he's finishing grieving Dany and be his mount? Like I said, they just left everything. Why did there have to be a king? Why couldn't Well, I thought it was fine with them getting a king. Honestly, they should have had 7 episodes. I would have liked that better. George has said he wants to do 7 books because there's a lot of symbolism in the seven in the books. 7 pointed stars, 7 kingdoms, blah blah blah. They could have done that. That would have been pretty sweet. They didn't though, but it's whatever. Maybe Drogon will find Jon Snow and he'll be the last surviving. I don't know. Honestly, I think Jon Snow just wants to be left alone at this point and live his life beyond the wall. Maybe he can find a northern girl. Maybe try to forget about Dany, but I don't know. Jon's a loner. It's kind of I don't know if I don't know what to. Him going to Night's Watch, that was just I don't know. They hated the season. I feel bad for her, to be fair. Jon King Beyond the Wall. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if Jon Snow. I mean, that's kind of where he liked to be, anyways. Especially since he met Mance Rayder, he kind of always wanted. He always liked being beyond the wall. And I think Thorne says one time, "Does Jon Snow want to be leader of the Night's Watch or leader of the Wildlings?" I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I think Jon Snow. It's bittersweet that because like Jon Snow has to kill the person he loves the most, but he's still alive. But I think in that, like I said before, in that moment, he just wants to die. Who are the no-name lords at the council? You have Bronn, a Lord of the Reach. Samwell Tarly, whatever. Without a British accent, I think it's Tarly. He's just, I think he's just like the Grand Maester. Davos, I don't know what he's doing. He's master of ships, but I don't know if he has any lands or titles. Are the Children of the Forest still alive? No, they were wiped out. I think the last one died in episode 5, Hold the Door. Edmure, yeah, didn't fucking see that coming. Didn't think Edmure Tully was still alive, but he came out of nowhere. And then they just showed what a bumbling fool he was. Again. It's like, where have you been? Like, this entire time, have you been underneath, like, the Twin Tower, or the towers? Like, seriously. He's just, Robin, yeah, what the fuck? Dude, Robin got old, what the hell? Didn't expect that. Well, it's because, like, Cersei's relationship was set up from season 1. That's the reason why it kind of hurt a bit more, but, like, if, like I said, if they would have stretched, like, it out to 10 seasons, I think it would have worked better. Because then you could have had one season would have been the spoils of war. That would have been the big episode, and then you have all the other. I don't know. I haven't really thought about this, but like, I don't know. I think it should have been 10 seasons. That's my whole point. Is that it needed to be 10 seasons to tell the story the right way. But I don't think. I don't know. It's because they didn't include a lot of the other characters, and I think that's when they kind of shot themselves in the foot, is because they didn't know what to do at certain points anymore. I don't know. Symbolism Kevin destroyed as it was created. Ooh, that's a good point. I like that, actually. That's very well thought out. Yeah, surprised Dario didn't make at least one appearance. Yeah, that would have been great. John walking out and they just see like a White Walker. Yeah. Very interesting. I gotta go to sleep. Hope not to wake up. World ain't a good place anymore. Yeah, no more Game of Thrones. This is gonna be an interesting time. What show will take over as the most popular now? It's not gonna be The Walking Dead, that is for sure. But hopefully something comes up. Like I said, on HBO, that his Dark Materials, that looks really interesting, actually. I'm looking forward to watching that. And was it HBO just released the Westworld trailer with Aaron Paul, the guy who plays Jesse off Breaking Bad. That looks interesting. The Mira Reed fan. What? It's a good fucking point. Where is Mira Reed? I completely forgot about her. What the shit? Yeah, they never brought her back. I can't believe that. Wow. Yeah, there's prequels to Game of Thrones. Hopefully they, I don't know, I don't know if you could ever top what Game of Thrones did, though. It's hard to have such characters with such, I don't know, charisma and just likability. Like, I don't know if you'll ever have a character like Daenerys Targaryen or Jon Snow again. that are just kind of like, I don't know, are just so epic, and like when you hear their names, you just, I don't know. Yeah, it was literally the casting for this show was top fucking tier. Like like especially the main people, like the Jon Snow, Cersei, Daenerys, like they did a really good job with the casting. Yeah, no Knight of Laughing Skull answers. Again, no one of the actors will ever come back. Promise they're happy done with it. Yeah, I know they're done. I just saw Euron. I thought this Euron should have been brought in. Like he was brought in season 6. He should have been brought in like season 5 at least. That would have made more sense. But whatever. Macy Williams will have an amazing career. Yeah, she's a very good actress. Very good. I mean, everyone in the show was really good. John, he never wanted to be, he wanted to live beyond the wall. He smirked at the gate closed because he had no intention of returning to the Night's Watch. Yeah, I think they knew. Like, and honestly, like, they weren't going to be able to, like, make him stay there anyways. He can do what he wants. John was going to... I mean, honestly, there's really no point in the Night's Watch anymore to begin with. So, yeah, I don't know. Bravos is east of Westeros. That's why it's called Essos, because it's east, west. Yeah, the prequel series looks very interesting. You get to find out how the Night King... Like, I'm assuming it's going to start out before the White Walkers were made. I'm assuming. Exactly, man. He didn't do his perfect ending because obviously Dany died. Yeah, he didn't. Jon's perfect ending would have been Daenerys sits on the Iron Throne and they just rule together in King's Landing and they marry. I think that's what, well, I think he would have preferred that than killing her, I guess. I don't know if that's Jon's perfect ending was to go beyond the wall and deal with all that shit. I think he'd rather have had Dany rule and him together with her, and they don't, try and kill everyone. I think, like, Jon's decision to kill Daenerys, I think, is just so... It takes a lot for, like, because he said, like he said in the show, love is the death of duty or whatever. And Jon knew Daenerys was going to pretty much destroy other places. Jon and Dany would never rule together, never would happen. I don't think Dany would have sat on the throne at the end. Well, that's the thing. Like, Jon was trying to convince himself that what Daenerys did was good, was the right thing, but he couldn't at the end. And he did what was the right thing, which I think a lot of people wouldn't have done. Most people would have tried to convince themselves they can change Daenerys. They could make her listen. But Jon it just, he's always tried to do the right thing. Even if it meant killing the person he loves the most. So yeah. Azor Ahai, yeah, he killed the person he loved the most. Yeah, it's crazy. You're right. That's a good fucking point. Yeah, obviously, although he fulfilled the prophecy of Azor Ahai, he killed his lover. That's a good fucking point. I like that a lot, actually. Wow, Supplanter fucking coming out. Explaining shit. I like that. Jon had to kill Daenerys to stop so the world would be in a peace. So Jon was brought back to kill Daenerys. I get it. So kind of in a way, Jon was brought back so he could recruit Daenerys for the Great War, pretty much to win it. And then he was there to kill Daenerys to make sure she didn't fuck up everyone else, pretty much, or something like that. I might be looking into this way too much. You always be my queen, stay. That got me. That got me a little bit. I was kind of cracking. I was tearing up at the end there. You will always be my queen. He stabs her. Goddamn, dude. Like I said, I think Jon would have preferred to die in that situation to Drogon. And when he didn't, I think he was kind of sad about it. Honestly, I don't know why at the end. I was hoping there would be another trial by combat. I don't know why. I was hoping like Jon would be like, I demand a trial by combat, and him and Grey Worm would go at it. I don't know why. I was hoping to see one last Jon Snow awesome sword fight. Because we didn't really get a lot of that this season. Like, he didn't have a lot of great sword fights this season. Like, compared to past ones. Like, in Battle of the Bastards, he had a great one. And, in Watchers of the Wall, he had a great one. And fucking, pretty much every season, like, he just goes ham. And this season, he really didn't have, like, an epic sword fight like he does in the rest. That kind of sucked. I would have loved to see him have like a crazy sword fight with somebody. I was hoping we'd get that with the Night King, but that never happened. So that was probably a little bit of a letdown. But I always assumed that Jon was gonna die to the Night King again, and then Beric would bring Jon back to life. Because if for those who don't know, Beric Dondarrion brings back Lady or Catelyn Stark in the books, and she becomes Lady Stoneheart. So Beric isn't in the books anymore. Pretty much, he's done. He's dead. So I was kind of hoping that's how Beric's story would end, bringing Jon back. But white folks try to riot, and they just end up literally fucking sick. Well, Brienne is a knight now. Is that Sir Brienne or Lady Brienne? Yeah, Brienne's the Kingsguard. Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. I think if Jorah was alive, if he didn't die in episode 3, I don't think Dany would have gone as crazy. I think Jorah would have been able to talk her off that ledge. Just because Jorah was such a close friend to her, he would have been able to convince her. Like, Tyrion was already losing face with Daenerys because he just kept making so many mistakes and underestimating Cersei, that Daenerys really didn't trust Tyrion's opinion at the end because Tyrion was trying to save everyone. And Daenerys understood, like, this is war. People are going to die. That's just the way it is. They only had 6 episodes. That's my exact thoughts as well. It is that they just could not do anything better with 6 episodes. Like, they had no time to set it up properly. If they would have had maybe another season, it would have been 10 times better. This is my opinion. Yeah. I get you, man. That's my opinion too about the matter. Yeah, I mean that's just why this season it's probably the worst season. It is the worst season out of all of them. But that's a good point. Why would they hint at Dany being pregnant? I think they were just trying to get people to, because they hinted at it a lot. I made a video about this. But they hinted at Daenerys being pregnant a lot. I think they were just trying to pretty much give a false sense of hope that because everyone assumed Daenerys was pregnant and that their child was sit on the throne. Everyone. I know this for a fact because I have read the comments on all my videos. Everyone, especially I made a video of Danny and John called, it's like Jon Snow and Daenerys, John and Daenerys, A Song of Ice and Fire. And everyone in the comments said, okay, Daenerys is pregnant. Those two are going to rule together, blah, 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 blah. So they were probably just getting your hopes up pretty much. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping, because, the thing is, they never, fucked again after he was told he was a Targaryen, which happened in episode 1. So that wouldn't have made a lot of sense. I was hoping she would be like, hey, Jon, I'm pregnant. And Jon's like, wait a minute, what? And then Jon would have to... I don't think Jon would have done that, though. That would have been crazy. That would have been... Ooh, maybe... Why didn't they do that? They could have easily have set that up. If Cersei had more of a baby, like a belly, that would have worked. Cersei was pretty skinny, so they could have easily set that up too, like Daenerys was pregnant. I don't know why they didn't. I can't believe they didn't actually. Huh. That's very interesting. That's a good point. God, it's been a while since I've just talked about Game of Thrones. Haven't worried. I can get on now if you want me to. I mean, if you want, you can jump on. I feel so empty inside. Yeah, the show's over now. I really don't know what to do. It's a very interesting dilemma. It's like something that's been a part of your lives for so long, and now it's just gone. It's like, what now? What to do? Wait for the prequel? Hope to God that it's good? Yeah, I know. God, John and Danny, man. This story ended not the way I would have wanted it to, but I think that's why. That's why this is Game of Thrones. It's a bittersweet ending. That was the point of it. I'm gonna cancel HBO. Yeah. About the prequel, I know it happens during the first long night. It happens like 4,000 years before. It's like right at the end of the Age of Heroes. So there's a good chance the wall hasn't been built yet, if I'm not mistaken, if it is at the first long night. Yeah, I agree. I think some of the Starks probably should have died. What do you... So, let me see if I can get this guy in here, if he wants to join. If he joins, we'll see. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, we're talking about the Long Night prequel.
Okay.
So the Long Night prequel, it's happening right after the Age of Heroes. And you're pretty much, I think the first season is going to be, well, it's confusing because some people say the Children of the Forest said they created the White Walkers to try and defend themselves against men, because men were coming from Dorne to invade what is currently Westeros. But then, if that's the case, I don't know if Winterfell would have been built at that point, or if the wall would have been built. Bran the Builder yeah, that's what I'm thinking is during Bran the Builder. I don't know if the wall will be built or not. And during the Long Night, you'll also have Azor Ahai in the mix, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, there's going to be there's Green Garth Hand. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Pretty much, he's like from the Reach, and he's credited with like children. Like his children are like all the famous heroes of the different houses. Like the main, like Bran the Builder, and I don't know what's the other one. I can't think of the other guy's name. There's a couple. There's a long list he's credited with, but the wall was built after the long. Exactly. So the wall won't be built yet. So it's going to be a crazy season. We'll find out who the Night King is, and pretty much how, if he was a Stark and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Children of Forest will play a major role in it. Probably Giants will as well. We'll probably get a lot from the Children of the Forest's point of view, building, like creating the White Walkers, like why they're doing it, the political side of that. And then we'll have the Starks, obviously. So it should be very interesting. Very curious to see what happens with it. Well, Cole, you can give your spin of what you thought of the episode, because I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, so my take on this episode was it was alright. Kind of disappointed. It got spoiled, but you know, happens. And what else? Really, I don't know why Drogon did not kill Daenerys. Uh, yeah, dude, I felt so bad for Drogon when he flew in and he was like a dog with Daenerys there trying to get her to wake up. Oh,
Was that it? Oh, that was
what?
me pissing. How did you hear that again?
Dude, you need to close the door.
I do not have that strong of a stream. Okay, I
Dude,
refuse to
it's
believe
like
that.
it literally sounds like you're pouring water into a cup right next to your mic.
I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I think that should tell you how big my member is. If you can hear
No.
it, it's like a fucking like a fireman's hose. Okay, I just grab onto it and hope it doesn't. Oh, you're good. Right, I didn't wash my hands. God damn it, you people! It's like a fireman's hose. Okay, I just pray to God it doesn't get in my eyes.
Okay. I was pretty happy that they gave us a moment with Ghost there at the end and with John. Didn't leave us with Ghost just disappearing and John abandoning him. Ugh.
Wash my hands so everyone should be happy. Did you see my link? That is how I want it to end. Your link? What link? Danny deserves more. I mean, I
I
think
think she got.
that's. I think that's
I
how
think,
her story was gonna end.
yeah, dude, I was disappointed. I thought Grey Worm and John were gonna duke it. I
I
don't know
can.
why. I just wanted it.
I honestly cannot believe, like, the bathroom is so far away. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, it's a long ways. How can you hear
Yeah,
that?
dude, you should have muted yourself. That's on you.
I'm so
But
annoyed right now. Like, I really am. Yeah, I thought Grey Worm and John should have, like,
dude, okay, why did
people
Bran
who
have to
use the
exile
word.
John?
What?
Uh, I don't know why Bran had to exile John. He could have just gave the Unsullied their ships. They sailed off and everything's good to go. John can be John.
John didn't like at that point. John wasn't killed, so I think he would. He knows that he would have been happiest in the North. Like in that situation with what was left, he was going to be the happiest if he went to the North.
Yeah.
So, like I've told them before, I think John wanted to die after he killed Daenerys. I do. And Drogon didn't grant him the gift of death. So.
Yeah. All right. So this is the thing that confused me the most during the entire episode. Sansa says that they aren't going to follow anyone but the North. Bran is literally her brother.
That has been my art. I've been literally annoyed about it this entire time. It just doesn't. It doesn't have the same ring, you know. King of the Six Kingdoms. It does not. It doesn't sound as good.
Yeah. Like, wait, isn't it Bran? Like, technically, shouldn't he be like, the king of the North? Like, I mean, he's technically the male heir.
I don't
Just
know.
saying.
It like that part. I was like, Sansa, that's
Oh.
literally your brother. Can you like, come on? That annoyed me more than anything else. I think, honestly, I don't know why. It just bothered me. Like if it was someone else who was okay, like say like Yara for some reason, I get it. Not no. Make their own laws and rules, their own country in the north bigger than the rest of the other kingdoms combined. Yeah, but like I don't get that, but she could have easily just been the wardeness of the north, and then just like Bran is still the king. Like Bran is more power than Sansa. So like I don't know.
Yeah, but age only matters. It goes gender first. Like back in that day, like it doesn't matter if Sansa's older than Bran.
Oh, that's not.
Bran.
They don't care about that, Cole. That's not. That's not.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. That part annoyed me more than anything, to be honest. Because in reality, like Sansa's still working probably with the other six kingdoms. Just I
yeah.
don't know. You're just annoying me because now they have to say six. Bran is the king of six king. It just pisses me off. Okay, it doesn't sound as good. It's the only
It,
thing.
can I just say, why did Sansa pick such a shitty tiara or crown or whatever?
The North, they don't like fancy ones. They go very, minimalistic.
Yeah, but it looks like a 3-year-old made it. Like, come on.
You cried when Danny died?
I did not cry.
Yeah, because fucking some people
Yeah,
don't
I
want
think
to.
it was more sad that Drogon was like a puppy
I,
trying
I,
to wake
I,
Danny up.
I think it would have been sadder, like I said, if it would have been. Like, honestly, like now looking, like when I'm starting to think about it and looking at it, it is a very sad moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very
It,
tough thing John has to do.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but it reminded me a lot of Ramsay killing his father.
No.
Yeah,
No. I mean, they
yeah.
both got stabbed. That's about the only thing. I
Dude,
mean,
I thought,
John loved Daenerys, but he didn't want to see other people get burned alive, all the innocents die,
yeah,
and
no,
it was the only
there's a
way.
difference.
John was forced to kill Daenerys because of it.
Yes, yes, yes. But the way, like, the way John did it, how he was saying how great she was, always be his queen or whatever. And he does that. Isn't that the exact way Ramsay did it to Roose?
No,
And then after he stabbed him, that's when he started
no.
talking shit.
Roose was like, he's like, is Ramsay went up to him and said, "Congratulations, father." And Roose is like, "You always be my firstborn." And Ramsay's like, "Oh, that means a lot to me." And then he stabs him.
Yeah, okay.
That's what happened. I know because I've seen
I
that
know,
scene
I
a
know.
lot. It's very similar to that dialogue if it's like not spot on, to be honest. Yeah, I wanted to see. I was really hoping for a trial by combat. I wanted to see John and Grey Worm go at it, and that didn't happen. Slightly annoyed about that. I mean, right? You did like you wanted to see that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like I honestly thought Grey Worm should have died, but
I
pers-
I it
personal taste. You cannot.
spoilers cannot be avoided when literally someone you're talking to says them to your face, and you can't
Yeah,
do anything about it.
yeah, yeah. You and your buddies are talking about what you think's gonna happen, and he reads the spoilers word to word and says, "Yeah, that's thoughts on what's gonna happen." And it's like,
You can't do it. And then, obviously I make videos and stuff, so they were just peppered in. But then, and then, like, on Twitter, like, everyone was voting for Bran to rule the kingdom. So you kind of knew. Like, you knew what was going to happen. They should make another God series. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the problem with the prequels that I'm afraid of. It's like, this show had so many iconic characters. I don't know how you're going to be able to build that up again in the prequels without trying to make them like these characters. Like you don't like in the prequels say you don't want to have another person that's like Jon Snow. You want to have them to have their own unique storyline. That's what's going to be hard about the prequels is cuz people are just going to if they're going to say people are just going to compare him to the to Game of Thrones characters. Like, oh, he's just a Jon Snow. He's like a discounted Jon Snow.
yeah, uh, dude, it was hilarious. So I would say I was like, yeah, why not give everyone a vote? Everyone's vote matters. And they're just all break out laughing at him like, oh, you
I
guy.
thought it was funny when Edmure fucking was there. Like he was gonna try to
Dude,
be
that whole
king.
part was
It's
hilarious.
like, dude, you have literally done nothing. Why should you be king?
It literally, you had made your entire uh, army surrender to the Lannisters, except for your uncle, who went out fighting.
And you've been in a cell for like the past like three, what, 5 seasons since season 3? Like, dude, get out of here. What do you think?
Nah, he wasn't in a cell
The Red
after him.
Wedding was season 3, episode 9. So he was in a cell from there on in until like season 6. And then after
What?
that, he was brought
Yeah.
back into a cell. Because
Oh,
no
he
one
was
knew who
in the
ruled the
cell.
Riverlands. No one had any idea. Or at
Yeah.
least that's what they said. I don't know. He could have been, there still, I guess.
Dude, he had to go. Okay, you gotta shoot your shot. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would have been like, hey, I should have been. Hey, I'm Tom. Um, I think I should be king because, I think I'd be pretty good at it. Thanks. I'd sit back down and let everyone say I for me. I. Like, yep. What did it say? John times Daenerys or John times Egret? That's a good question. Which romance did you like better?
Well, uh, eager. Let's be real.
Oh, it's John and Daenerys for me. That might be just because I have a thing for blondes.
Uh,
More than that, I don't know. I don't know. There's something about John and Daenerys' relationship. I think it's
dude,
very well done
the
for
what?
the little
Incest
amount of
part of
time
it,
they
or
had.
what?
Hmm?
The
Yeah,
incest part of it, or what?
that was the best part. That's the best part, right?
No. See, No, it's gotta be Egret, dude. There's no way. John and Daenerys, like, was a Romeo Juliet style, where him and Egret were just happy together till John betrayed her. You know,
See, that's what John is just a character who does the right thing, and that is just so hard. Like he put the people, like all those innocent peoples, above his own self-interest. That I mean, goddamn, dude,
because he's
what a character.
he because he thought he was a bastard his whole life. He had no rights. He was those people.
Yep, I agree with you. I don't know, John just. I mean, the both the endings.
But
It's hard for me because I really love the John and Egret ending, where John's looking at her and she's like, "Jon Snow, we should have stayed in that cave." And John's like, "We'll go back there." And then she's like, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." And then the camera like pans out like slow motion, and John like is just hugging her during like the middle of the battle. It's a very beautifully shot scene. It's like one of my favorite scenes because it makes me feel. There's a lot of emotion in that scene. So I'm gonna have to look back at this John and Daenerys scene and see how much it makes me feel. Like if I like, oh god damn, that really, you know, makes me feel something. I gotta look back at it.
no, dude,
No,
Podrick has something up his sleeve,
not
dude.
even an
They're
answer
talking about how we didn't even finish or get to know what Podrick did.
to those girls. He sang to them.
No, no, there's no way.
High in the halls where the kings who were gone, Jenny would dance with her ghosts. Would you like me to finish the song, Cole?
Yes, I need
I
a
don't put.
comic relief.
There'd be zero people watching by the end of it. I'm a pretty good singer. What are you talking about? Gig a
Yeah,
standing
okay.
ovation in the chat right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat, dude. There's
See,
not.
they're clapping. They're like, "Yeah, continue, continue."
Uh,
I almost got onto a tangent of how great of a singer I am, but we're not gonna get into that. That's not what this is about. Had some sort of 13-inch sword and knew how to wield it.
yeah.
13-inch sword isn't that big though. That's below average. Average size is like 16 inches. That's what I got. 16 inches. Nothing to brag about, average size sword. Jesus Christ.
What are you doing right now?
I'm losing my mind right now. That's what's happening. I don't know. Game of Thrones has ended up sad. I don't know what to do.
Uh, I need to take a good shot here.
Oh yeah, you have my whiskey, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Thrones Beyond the Scenes. Yeah, I'm curious to see. They have a documentary coming out next week. You'll probably do like something like this again, just for the documentary next week. So that's a good point. Don't cancel your HBO yet, because documentary comes out next week about the filming of season 8. So maybe we'll get some answers, more in-depth reasons for why they did this and what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Jenny.
And yeah, and the more that you think about it too, like with what Tyrion said, it makes a lot of sense that Bran is like the king and stuff now. Like because history, repeats itself. And you're just over here singing and not paying attention.
And the ones who I loved her the most. God, that's a good song though. I'm gonna have to listen to that fucking thing again though. I think that song has a lot of symbolism. Like a lot of people were saying that song dealt with John, right?
Oh yeah,
In
it
a
was
way.
written by Rhaegar Targaryen.
How did that deal with it? What was the theory again? That John would have to No, that doesn't make any sense because
But
Duncan
no,
left.
the the theory was that Rhaegar Targaryen wrote that song, and it was a song about Jon.
No, it's about Duncan though.
How is it about Duncan?
It's about Duncan Targaryen. He left. He gave up his crown for Jenny of Old Stones.
Yeah, but he sprinkled in the prince that was promised.
Where? Go
Oh my
ahead.
god, am I gonna have to pull up the lyrics? What's
I
it
could
called, Jenny? Song?
just sing it to you if that's what you would rather have. No, because it doesn't say. Because it once had loved in the moment. They spun her around on the damn stone. No, that's not it. It's something about kings. She couldn't remember her names. They spun her around on the damn stones. Something
Spun,
of sorrow and pain, and she
spun away.
never wanted to leave. Sing! See? They want it.
Nobody wants this.
they
You
all
are.
want it.
Please don't.
High in the no.
Uh, yeah, if I'm pretty sure it, if you just look at this stuff, okay, from winter to summer, then winter again, till the walls crumble and fall.
That was about something else, though. That was added on, I thought, by that was written later after David and Dan. Did
Yeah,
they
no,
add that on to
the
that?
only thing, yeah, they wrote pretty much the whole song. The only thing in the books was "High in the halls of the kings who are gone," and he would dance with her ghost.
Why didn't you sing that part?
I don't want to, outdo you on your
Yeah,
own channel.
I
I
don't think
mean,
that's possible, but hey, whatever. Rhaegar was born outside the burning castle that night. He was trying to burn dragon eggs. That's when Jenny and Aeg died.
yeah,
You mean Aegon?
yeah,
Because
you
Rhaegar
know,
was born outside burning. He was born outside Summerhall. In Summerhall, there was a catastrophe involving
that was the
Duncan.
catastrophe.
They don't know what
The,
it was though. They never.
the,
It's never been explained by George. They just know that something bad's happened there.
yes, but they know that Aegon was obsessed with trying to bring back Dreg, and
Well,
they believe that he was trying to do a ritual that night to bring back dragons and accidentally went wrong and burned down somewhere. That's the whole theory.
the shit. Did the time change or something? I thought it was almost midnight.
No, it's 11:18.
Okay,
Sure.
my bad. I don't know what I'm thinking then. So that's the theory. Wow, there's so much. I think what they should do for a prequel. I thought this a lot. You know what True Detective does and Fargo does?
What do they do? Huh?
They have like a one season thing, so they tell a story in one season,
Oh
and then
yeah,
the
that'd
next
work.
season is something else, like different characters entirely. So I'm thinking, because there's a lot of stories that I don't think would grant an entire show dedicated to them, but I think you could easily have a show in one
Dude,
season for them. Like, say you want to take the
that's what I assume the spin-offs are gonna be, are just like one season off. Not,
no, the Long Night. They're gonna want to try to do like Game of Thrones, but I think you could
but
easily get
are we
like
gonna have a whole season of that guy trying to forge Lightbringer? Because he forged it for 30 days the first time it broke when he
we
put it in
don't
oil.
know
Forged it
exactly.
for 50 days and it broke when he put it through a lion's heart. And then he forged it for 100 days and nights and it finally worked when he stabbed
That's just
Miscellaneous
the
through the heart.
story that people tell themselves. We don't know if that's exactly it. George has said that we don't know. That's how it is. Like none of the maesters know. If you read the books, the history of Westeros or whatever, they never mention Azor Ahai. Like they're thinking most of those, like Bran the Builder, is just made up. They're just stories that people tell themselves. Because that's like they say it in the deal. It's stories, you know. It's what.
I mean, so in theory, like if we think about this, could all the prequels start with just us like having Bran sit like where the Iron Throne was in his chair, warg into his mind, and then bam, now we're in a
Yeah,
prequel.
but I mean, I don't know why you would do that.
But why not?
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to do the long night, and they're gonna stretch that out for a couple of seasons. I think they should do like the Fargo thing, where it's where you do the what am I saying? One season to tell a story. So like, say you want to do the Reigns of Castamere, you could do one season of where Tywin takes over and pretty much destroys House Castamere.
Yeah,
And then you can move on. You could do the Nine Penny Kings or the Blackfire Rebellions. Well, the Blackfire Rebellions, you might need more than one season. Dance Drag, like there's a lot of stuff you can do.
I mean, I would really
The
like
first,
Attorney of Harrenhal. Like, I would like to see that
the first
personally.
Beyond the Wall, or the first King Beyond the Wall. Something Redbeard, I think his name was.
So wait, so is John gonna be the king beyond the wall, or is he just gonna be like Craster and just live out there?
He's gonna hang out with Tormund. I don't know. You know,
I
like they
mean,
left it open, so if they ever wanted to, they could do a sequel.
I mean, now if Drogon is heading east and Arya is heading west, eventually they can meet up. Just say, I
They could, will they though?
don't know. I like to think that Drogon trying to where
I mean,
they had Khal Drogo's death.
who was pretty happy that Jon Snow went back to great flowing curly hair? I was pretty stoked about that. What?
Wow,
What?
fucking man crush over here.
I'm not saying we have similar hair. We do.
You don't, because you look like Mira Reed. There's a difference.
Wow. She looks like John. It's not the point. We're not getting into this. Not today, Cole. Not
Your
today.
hair looks like Mira Reed.
About to be muted. How about that?
I just need to make sure that people know the truth.
Looking at Daenerys was wrong. Never forgive or forget. See, like I think a lot of people are sad. Like I think they wanted Daenerys to sit on the throne, and they're just not gonna accept like this is how her story ends, no matter what. It doesn't matter how many seasons you would add on. This is how Daenerys dies. But whatever. They could do, yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Like American Horror Story, American Horror Story, where they just do like one season and then new season would do a different story.
Mira is just John with the new Snapchat filter. Get
Boom.
out of here with that shit.
If only had Snapchat to understand what you guys are talking about.
They made a new filter where you can swap genders.
I mean, I guess that's a good question. What are we gonna watch now? I don't know. I wonder what the worst part. Wow, God, people are just. Sometimes it's hard to look at Twitter. Just a bunch of fucking complainers.
Yeah, I know. Ethan was very pleased with the episode. He thought it was really good. And Tanner said it was a piece of shit. So,
What do they know?
uh,
Peaky Blinders is a good series to watch. I watched like the first two seasons of that, and then I kind of was over it, to be honest. I don't know why, but it was like, hmm. Oh my god, dude. Oh, okay, I get it. That was a joke. I read someone said after this episode, I think I'm done watching Game of Thrones, and I was like, wait, what? And then obviously the season's over, so that's the joke because the series is over. It's very very good, very very clever. All right. Well, honestly, I think we've talked long enough. I really don't know what else to talk about. I've given my thoughts, rambled.
No. Dude, I don't get why people complain about Bad Right. Like, they had 6 episodes to cram in, like, probably
That
2 seasons worth of stuff.
that is the
Like,
point that people don't understand. It's like,
and anyone that says they were blindsided by Daenerys hasn't been paying.
yeah, I know. People never. I mean, I kind of
It's
forgot
literally
about
people complaining my person didn't win.
like, yeah, pretty much. Well, when people's favorite characters are like Daenerys and stuff, and you're pretty much, you have I don't know, like, they're like this perfect person in your mind. And then if they do something bad, you're kind of thrown through a loop. And a lot of people looked at Daenerys as like like she should sit on the throne. She was the main character throughout the show. I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
It's just a lot of people. Yeah, I don't know. Twitter's just
Twitter.
you just can't
Poor,
look at it because
poor Brienne.
it's like, how do you explain to people, like, I don't know. I'm a Danny fan, but I think it was meant to be. Exactly, like, it is the way it's going to be. Like, that's what people. This is the first time. Exactly. Like, I just people, man. It's it's too much sometimes. It it's just people just don't like how certain characters ended their storylines or whatever, and they just like, oh, it should have been this. Like when Cersei died, people bitched that she didn't die in a gruesome enough way or something. It's like, there's no great way to die. Dying is dying. It's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt, and you're dead. What? I don't know. It just pisses me off. You can't explain to people. Like certain people just have it in their minds that this is what needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, they get all pissy about it. Is Arya killed? No.
No.
Probably
Dude,
should watch
why
it
was
again.
Arya even in the episode, dude? I don't, didn't make much sense.
That's a good point. I don't know why Daenerys, or I don't know why Arya. I think they just wanted to hint that she might. They got through that pretty quickly. That happened like after Daenerys died. That was in the middle of the episode. I thought that was going to be at the way end, to be honest.
No, they had way too much shit after Daenerys died. They could have made a whole nother episode of, Grey Worm being upset, fighting John.
It's
Because I was hoping they were going to go to blow right after John grabbed his arm. He was going to kill the Lannister soldiers for no reason.
I was kind of hoping that Jon and Grey Worm would fight, but that never happened.
Yeah,
Like I said, no great Jon Snow fight this year. That kind of pissed me off, honestly.
yeah. It made no sense. I thought Grey Worm could have died just from his character standpoint. Like, I get it. Like, he's a amazing fighter. But how many battles did he fight on the front line and never even get wounded? Really, like a real wound.
And then in the episode, they kind of like discussed what everyone else was discussing. Like they kind of put it in there. Like Tyrion was like, "Oh, she burned, she crucified the masters in Essos. She did all this in Essos or whatever. But it was all right because they were evil people." So if Daenerys believes, I don't know. They kind of discussed their reasoning for why.
Oh yeah, Daenerys believed that the people backed Cersei and were therefore evil, so she burned them all.
I, It could have been
weak.
fixed with more episodes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
thought it
just
was badass though when he rode in with Drogon on the back, and then Drogon, when she was walking up, spread his wings behind her.
yeah, it's pretty. That's a pretty cool shot, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I think she was a decent person. Then she was just kind of pushed into madness. Because madness is like gravity. All you need is a little push. And then, yeah.
And then you blow up a hospital. What?
Well, I think that was more or less Cersei's fault. Cersei pretty much created the Mad Queen in a way
Yeah.
because she killed Rhaegal and then she killed Missandei in front of Daenerys. Like Cersei should have just bent the knee to begin with, but she thought, they killed one dragon. Cersei had false confidence because they were able to catch Daenerys unawares.
I think Drogon should have at least got one through the wing or something. Like they had some poor shot.
Well, it was because like Daenerys and Rhaegal and Drogon, they were
They
putzing.
were putzing. Yeah.
That was the reason. Like, and then Daenerys went full speed ahead. You know how hard it is to hit a fucking moving target?
I mean, shoot
It's not hard.
pheasants. So
Yeah, but this is a dragon moving at fucking Mach speed, and you have three people trying to move a scorpion around. It's not that easy.
wow. You said it's easy to shoot a pheasant.
I'm saying that there's literally three people have to be working together
Yeah.
to move a scorpion. I think that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, Rhaegal, that was completely ridiculous. I'm excited to see how it changes in the books. Yeah, there's
I
another
don't.
Aegon in the books. I'm curious to see how that works out. Because some people think that Jon's story got bigger because there's another Aegon in the books and they kind of combined his story with his. But I think for
Could
the
be.
most part, Jon still gets brought back and he still, you know, does what he does in this. But because that Aegon probably dies. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know why they named two. That didn't make a lot of sense. But you think George would have named the other? Well, he thought he was. I don't know. She's not Sidious. She's not her father. In the books, it's stated that scorpion bolts on bruised dragons, their scales are almost completely indestructible, so undead Viserion might kill him in the books. Well, see, they have dragon horns in the books, so I don't know how that's going to work. They have the horn at Jormungand, which brings down the wall. And there's a lot of.
they got Dragon Binder, which is supposed to control a dragon.
I mean, that was the main point. I mean, that's why they had to do the Beyond the Wall episode, is because they needed a way to get a dragon on the other side and to destroy the wall. Because without that, the Night King could never have gone through.
Yeah. But yeah, nobody can complain with the way it ended because that's how it's going to end in the book too.
Now people can complain. They'll still complain about it.
Yeah, but Bran's going to end up on the throne, which he is the rightful guy to end up on the throne because he knows everything that's worked and failed, everything the past kings have done. So he knows, like, oh, we're in a famine. This is what worked the best.
In the
Let's do that.
yeah, I know what you're saying. In the books, Daenerys just is in the Dothraki Sea right now. So at the end of season 5, Jon
Yeah, so when
Snow's
she's about
dead.
to murder all of them. Yeah.
No, she hasn't been captured yet. I don't think. I'm not 100% sure though. I haven't read Dance Dragons in a bit. I know Jon Snow's dead. Stannis is still alive. Theon escaped. Ramsay Mancerator is with Ramsay Bolton right now.
Isn't Sansa in the Vale?
Sansa is in the Vale with Peter, I believe. I can't. I think it's kind of fuzzy. I don't remember everything. How old are the dragons in the books? I would assume they're probably, I don't know, 2, 3 years old. They're not that old though. Well, I don't know how much people aged. I guess they could be pretty old actually. I have no idea. How would you rewrite the Night King?
The Night King's not in the book. They just don't add him.
Um,
Because didn't the
honestly,
TV show just add the Night King
yeah,
to add a face to the Whites?
to the White Walkers, yeah. The Night King, I don't know. I see what I always assumed was going to happen at the end of episode 3. Winterfell was going to lose. John and the Night King have an epic sword fight, and John loses, but he gets brought back by Beric, and they have to go south and retreat to Dragonstone. And then Cersei still kind of does a like Cersei is then pretty much forced to have to pair up with Daenerys and John because if she doesn't, they'll all die. And Daenerys does the selfless thing of she actually bends the knee to Cersei and says, "Hey, you can be the queen. Just help us in this fight or whatever." And then they are in King's Landing. Shit's going down, and then I don't know. I had something like the Night King enters the throne room and or he enters somewhere and somehow wildfire gets lit off and like everyone dies pretty much. That's how that's how I thought it was gonna end. And like I think Tyrion was gonna be alive, Bran would be alive, and then but obviously that didn't happen. Night King died, episode 3. Useless was
Yeah.
Yari after she took. Yeah, exactly. Like what the shit? I thought Yari was gonna do something. She did nothing.
So wait, no. If you think about it, was Sansa the only one smart enough not to agree to join the kingdoms again? Like all the other people said, yeah, I agree to have Bran be my king. But couldn't they just said, no, we don't want to have a king anymore.
Well, they all
Just all
agreed to it,
separated.
and then Sansa at the end was like, "Oh," and then those guys were like, "Wait a minute, that's an option?"
Yeah, right. Like
Like they really like.
they got screwed.
Yeah, I dislike Sansa a lot, honestly. Like she had no reason to be rude to Daenerys right away, no reason at all. And then she turns out to be right, but still, it's like she was being just rude the entire time for no reason.
Bran broke it. Oh my gosh.
It's a play on Bran the Builder.
Yeah, I know, but they could have picked a nice for it, like
What else?
Bran the Wise, Bran the Three Eye, something cool. No, Bran the Broken. He's, he doesn't have working legs. Yeah, he's broken.
Yeah, Sansa. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I really hated Sansa's character this season. I'm not gonna lie. I just did not like just the hate she had for Dany. Just annoyed me. But oh, we never got to find out what happened to Gilly. So is Gilly like pregnant now in King's Landing? Does she have a kid now, or?
Well, yeah, you knew she was pregnant.
And we never had like a Sam John moment of saying goodbye, like at the end, leaving King's Landing. Like John didn't like say goodbye to Sam, and Sam's like his best friend, and I like why not? Sam was there. Sam could say, "Okay, we'll see you again." Going to the wall. I don't know.
He was probably at that meeting. You could argue.
I was kind of hoping they'd bring Jon Snow out. I don't know why they didn't. Davos didn't even say goodbye to Jon. They just like left Jon. Like Jon only got to say goodbye to Sansa, Arya, and Bran, and kind of Sansa fucking kind of started this shit, didn't she? Well, no, Jon started by telling Sansa, but Sansa then spread it to Tyrion, and then she told Varys, and then it continues. Jon is named as Queen Slayer. I'm sorry, I can't talk anymore.
Yeah, because he slayed the queen more than once. Right? Yeah.
Thoughts on Clegane Bull? I personally felt the zombie man was too OP. He was. It was bullshit. He gets stabbed in the eye, die. Like what? How is
Yeah,
that fair?
yeah, but Dan and Dave said the only way they wanted the Hound to win is he had to overcome his fear of freedom. That's the reason they wrote it that way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I
Because
think at the end there's a small part of me that hoped John and Daenerys stayed together. That they would just leave. Just didn't
yeah,
happen though.
yeah, no, no, man. There's no season 9 of Game of Thrones. That was
Yeah.
it.
I actually really liked episode 3. Like a lot. I did not think it was that bad. Like, I don't know.
It still annoys me that Arya got to have the fight with the Night King and not.
I would have loved to at least see John fight a White Walker, like something, but wish that John and Danny will escape somewhere on a dragon. Yeah, I was kind of hoping John and Danny would have just left. Like John would have been able to convince Daenerys, like, hey, you've taken out the deal. Let's just leave. Let's just go north. Just you and me. But yeah, ended where it started. Yeah, exactly. John going back to the wall. Yeah, I would have loved to see John fight the Night King. I don't know why. Or just like, you know, like that's my whole problem with like this season especially. It's like John never really had any epic moments. Like he's had the past 4 seasons. He's pretty much been the guy in all the wars and stuff, and now he's just like, I don't know. That was probably my biggest issue. And obviously it's rushed. Rate it out of 5 stars. Hmm.
I'd probably give it a 4,
Wow.
but that's like an 8 out of 10.
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I really need to watch the Danny John moment again. I need to see how much that makes me feel. 2.5. Fucking hell, dude.
Holy shit!
I don't know. I think David and Dan are trying to. They should have done more seasons. That's their fault. They should have fucking. I blame them the most for not doing more seasons because they were HBO wanted them to. So
Oh yeah, HBO wanted 10.
exactly. So I blame. That's my biggest thing with David and Dan is I blame them for that. Other than that, though, it's whatever.
Well, they said they didn't want to be. They didn't say this.
Kill Danny with the
The
bow.
Walking Dead, where you drag that on for way too long, eat the dead horse.
Exactly. Kill Danny is the hard. Yeah, that's probably the hardest thing John has ever done was to kill Danny.
I mean, he watched her die in time too.
No, that had to be the hardest thing. And what the hardest thing he's ever had to do was stab Danny through the heart.
What if John gave her the kiss of life just to negate
Oh
everything?
my!
Oh
Like I
my
said,
gosh.
like John's living a fate worse than death right now. Now he has to live with the fact that he killed the person he loved the most. He has to live with that for the rest of his life, which, for some people that would really that keep you up at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be an after credit scene. I honestly did. I thought they were gonna show Daenerys being like what Drogon did with Daenerys' body. Would you count the Iron Throne as a kill? I have to make that video tonight.
No, that's not a kill. That's not a living
I'm
thing.
gonna including that in there. For those who
No.
want to know, all season 8 deaths, that's gonna be uploaded tonight. But uh it's
So
not gonna
wait,
have all the deaths because I put some of the main ones in there. I can't like it just kept being taken down because like literally the episodes are all death. Like
Yeah.
episode 3 was like 40 minutes of killing. Like I can't just include all that. So it's gonna have the crucial, like the main characters especially, and then some of the crucial points in the episode. But it's not gonna have everything. They'll have most of it, or at least the ones you care about. So I'm gonna include the Iron Throne in there. The video is
And
gonna end is with the Iron Throne burning. Yeah, I think that's the
so,
last step
so
of it.
now, I guess I didn't pay attention enough. Did the Iron Throne run down the steps so Bran could go up them now with his chair? Or,
There is no
like,
throne anymore. That's it.
yeah, I know, but I assume Bran's gonna park his wheelchair there. You know?
Okay, they were out of contract, and certain members of the cast were out of contract and wouldn't sign new ones. Kit was one of them. That's why HBO's fault for allowing crucial cast and crew to run out on contract. Yeah, just so many problems. HBO's, I don't know. They'll learn hopefully with the prequels.
I don't want to say it, but I don't think prequels are gonna be as big because it's not gonna have all the same cast of characters.
Yeah, it's just hard to have iconic characters like this, like Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen. They're gonna live through the annals of history as iconic characters. Like it's hard to create more iconic characters in the same world. Like look at Breaking Bad and look at the prequel Better Call Saul. Like it's an all right show, but it's nowhere near Breaking Bad.
Yeah. So,
So,
can you explain to me though why Tyrion was not included in A Song of Ice and Fire?
because he didn't do anything. That was the joke. It's like you have such like I think it's because like Tyrion's like such a main part of the no, it's because Varys said like they'll never write about you in the history books, but we'll remember. You know that part?
Yeah, I know, but
That's the
like,
reason.
what?
You have so much other stuff going on right now. You have like for the you have John, you have Daenerys, you have all these other stories happening. Which is funny as hell because like George, like I think Tyrion has the most chapters in the books, and that's George's favorite character. So it'd be fitting that he's not in the book at all. I think that's pretty funny to be honest.
But I don't know. I feel like at somewhere his name should be mentioned, like, oh, this was the hand of Daenerys or something.
I think it's funnier that way. I think. Are you going to include the show in the video? Jesus Christ. I don't know. I guess. I mean, it's. I don't know. The show's all in the video, so I don't know. Oh my god, it's almost midnight. I think I've been talking or rambling for almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what happened? Why was your stream taken down earlier?
Freaking! I was playing that Jorah Mormont kills video, and YouTube was like, "Oh, it has copyrighted material," and I don't know. I was like, "Are you kidding? It's uploaded on YouTube right now. What do you want from me?"
Wow. Uh,
Yeah, George has some fault. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around. It's not just on D&D. You got to blame George because he never finished those damn books.
yeah, and that was the whole thing when Dan and Dave started. George uh, thought he was still going to be able to finish the book before the show caught up. But as soon as the show caught up, he was just like, ah, screw it. I don't need to write those books.
Yeah, because he started like writing random shit then. Like he's working on other books and like he's done a lot of histories lately.
Yeah.
But
Maybe he's trying to get a hold of like the lore and stuff straightened
this
up
guy this
before.
guy says Rob was amazing. But so who was your favorite character throughout the show?
Me or
Yeah,
you?
you go ahead. If you
Oh,
would be
shit.
one
You.
character. Oh no, I like this question. If you'd be one character in Game of Thrones, who will it be? What house will you be in?
If I was one character in
Yeah.
the show,
Yep.
who would I be?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I know who you're gonna say
I mean,
I am.
Go ahead. I won't say anything. Pick a
I mean,
person. I don't think
honestly,
it's that hard, honestly.
dude, but I'm picking between two.
Pick. Just say it. Go.
Probably Tormund. He'd be a badass, just
Tormund.
crazy man. He'd just be crazy guy.
Um,
He'd be fun to be.
who do you think I'm gonna say?
You're gonna say you think you're Jon Snow, but
Oh, you
you're
think?
not.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. I
You
didn't know you think. I
you're
didn't know
not
you
Jon
think that.
Snow. I don't know how many times I gotta pound that through your skull.
See, the thing is, I usually go off of how hurt am I gonna be? Like we had this conversation of which Stark would you want to be,
What's
and which Stark you want to be, and it's like and that includes John, and you have to pick John, even though you get stabbed. You have to pick him because you don't
I'll
want to
be
be
Ned.
Bran.
I'll be Ned.
I don't want to die in the first season. I want to go the full 8. I don't
Well,
want to be
yeah,
Bran.
but I feel like Ned has lived long. He's an
I
older guy,
choose
had
Rob.
children.
The good, have a good rest of your night. Yeah, you too, Danger Wolf. I've one carried back alive in Game of Thrones. I'd probably pick Marjorie. I really like Marjorie Tyrell, to be honest. I wish she never died. I was
Hmm.
super fucking sad when she did.
She would have been a great queen.
I'd pick. I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't be Bran because he can't walk. I wouldn't be Arya because she's blind. And being a woman at that time is not like the greatest thing. It's not the greatest thing right now, even. So I don't want to deal with that. Sansa, well, I don't want to be Sansa because there's a lot of bad things that happen to Sansa and Arya. So it has to be Jon, just for the sake that he deals with the less.
Wow. Well, look at this putz named Dwight Iverson. What a putz.
What do you mean? You never asked to be invited. I'd pick Rhaegal. Really?
Nah, Rhaegal. He doesn't need to
Considering
be
how
there.
slow I run, probably be Rickon or the Butcher's Boy. Yeah, it's like you have your like yeah, I'm Jon Snow, but then in reality you have like this fucking pretty much like deformed person. Like you're like oh you have a picture like yeah I'm Jon Snow, and then you just like go to like a lonely wildling who's barely living. Considering how slow Rickon wasn't allowed to discuss tonight, true. Who would you guys pick? Who would you want to be in Game of Thrones? I mean, like honestly, feels like you're gonna die no matter what. Hodor. That's a great hero. Is anyone gonna say they want to be Daenerys? I'm
Nah.
curious. This person wants to be Dany. Look at that. Why'd you make? I'm just in a call with Cole right now. No, I'm not in like a group thing. And once again, you never asked. I
You weren't
was
on
I was
when we were
literally
doing this.
sitting here by myself for an hour. Khal Drogo would be pretty cool. Dany would be cool. I mean, you gotta pick the main characters, right? Like, no one wants to be like Sam. Like, who wants to be Samwell or Varys or Peter?
What'd Sam do wrong? All he's done is survived, got knowledge, and got a girl. I mean,
Yeah,
he's.
I picked John. I mean, that's Dany would be cool. Balerion, the Black Dread. That'd be what I name my cat. Is Balerion, the Black Dread. What's the name of your cat? Oh, it's Balerion, Black Dread. He's white. Doesn't matter. Shut up. I would name him Ghost if he was white, actually. Sir Pounce. Oh yeah, you're right. Sir Pounce. That'd be the name. You're right. I completely forgot. Definitely be the name. Would anyone pick Jamie? I mean, no,
No,
right? You have to bang your
no.
sister, you get your hand cut off. Seems like a lot of weird stuff you gotta go through. Guys,
What
what
about
videos are you
Tywin?
gonna to do because God ended. So, guys, what videos are you going to do since God... We're moving on to different shows. Like, we'll move on to the prequel, talk about that, more theories about that. Then we'll probably move on to the Witcher's doing something on Netflix, which is very fantasy. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, but has a lot more fantasy elements into it. Lord of the Rings prequels coming out on Amazon. Probably do stuff with that. And then there's a show on HBO called His Dark Materials, which looks like Harry Potter with magic and stuff, but it's like dark, so that looks interesting as well. Be the Night King, that'd be cool. Valadares makes no sense of what ended up to John. Bran easily could have pardoned him because he has a reason to say. Yeah, John didn't want to stay in King's Landing, Milton. He wanted to go beyond the wall to begin with. But he was forced to go to King's Landing because he loves Daenerys, and now Daenerys isn't there, so he left.
So, like, we talked about before, but what's the point of the Knights? What are Knights Watch? Because they aren't doing anything. They're not guarding the realms of men. Are they just going to be like a house of bastards where criminals go?
That's related to the movie The Golden Compass. I've never seen The Golden Compass, I guess. I don't know. That Dark Materials, though, that looks good. They have a lot of good actors. Like James McAvoy, he's a pretty damn good actor. Like, especially he's like a big movie star and stuff, so the fact that he's willing to, like, you know, go into a TV show, I'm assuming it must be pretty good. Oh, what were you saying? Why the Night's Watch is there? I don't know. I think they might have just told Grey Worm that so John can do what he wanted to do, is leave.
Yeah, like there's a point. It needs to be a place for criminals and bastards. But is
I
that
don't
just going
know.
to be like a new house? They're just going to be like, oh,
Could
we're
be.
House Night Watch,
It's where
and that's
John
where they
maybe
send all the criminals.
resides. Maybe it's like when winters are really bad, John goes back there. Maybe John's like now pretty much the king of the north, king beyond the law.
I just assume he's going to be the Grasser, just live in a hut with his daughters
I don't know.
slash wives.
I think John's sad right now. He's not gonna love for a while again.
Well, he's got to marry at least two women so he can have Stark and Targaryen children to keep
I
both
don't know.
houses
I
alive.
think John is. I don't know.
Because otherwise, both houses are dead.
I feel.
Unless, well, I guess Sansa could still
I don't
keep
know. John is
Stark.
just. He's sad. He doesn't know what to do. He lost the person he loved the most. High in the. No.
We're gonna go back to you singing them.
Yeah, it comes full circle. I think I've said the same thing at least twice.
Yeah.
Completely. What season's your favorite? Season 4, by far. It's just the best season. Then goes to season 6, season 3, season 1, season 7, season 2, season 8. I'm out of water, man.
Dude, I'm disappointed though. We don't get to have the Tormund Ghost event. I was so excited, man.
See, season 7's really good. I think what made season 7 work for me is because it pretty much focused mainly on Daenerys and Jon, which is what you want because they're the most interesting characters. So season 7 works for me because the interactions between the two.
See,
Some
but my
people
problem
dislike
with season 7 is when Sansa and Arya were fighting for no reason.
I didn't
Like,
really
those
care
two
about
fighting.
that. I looked past it because of Jon and Daenerys scenes.
Yeah.
That's why, honestly, I think season 8, if you would have just, like, I think in episode 3, you need to kill a lot more people.
Yeah, I think
And
Grey
then
Worm to die.
focus on Jon and Daenerys' relationship being strained because of the knowledge of Jon being a Targaryen prince. That's just what I think, but a series about hounds search for chickens, I would have watched that. I would have as well.
I would have.
How many dislike the ending? I mean, I'm fine with the ending, but
Yeah, they wrote it to where it made enough sense.
it's as best as it was gonna get, to be honest. Like, I don't know how you would. There's not the whole problem with the season is that there's not enough episodes. That's the point. I mean, I don't know. That's it. That's the reason. If there's more episodes, be better. So is like, does Milton want in on this or like what?
What happened to us ending?
Oh yeah, I have to work on that season 8 video. I gotta get the deaths in there. So I think we're gonna end it here. We talked for way longer than 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Next week they're doing a God documentary about the behind the scenes of season 8. So hopefully we get some things about that. We'll get some knowledge on why they made certain choices. I'm looking forward to that. We'll probably do this kind of thing again. What do you think, Cole? No? Yes? Maybe?
Yeah, we'll watch it and see if
Talk
it's
about
worth
it.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, might as well. And I could probably rewatch the season in that time, so I could kind of get my thoughts will be more thought out. Tyrion kind of screwed John. You would have been such a good ruler. Kill Dany. Gets asked who should be king. Bran would be cool. Yeah, Tyrion
True.
kind of played. I don't think John would have killed Daenerys if it wasn't for Tyrion.
No way, he wouldn't have. He would have sucked it up. Been like, all right, Queen, what do I need to do?
Like I said, I think most people wouldn't have been able to do what John did. It's, love is the death of duty. I don't know why I keep bringing that up. I think it's a very important part. I think that if you start to
Because he knew
really,
John would do his duty over love.
I think if you really start to think about that scene, it starts to make it sadder in a way. Maybe that's why, because I want to be sadder. Like thinking of like the internal struggle that John had to go through for that.
Yeah, love is the death of duty. Duty is the death.
Thanks, Planner. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the stream. Super happy about that. 6 a.m. So you must be. It's 12 here. God, 6 a.m. Where'd that
Yeah,
be?
he's a European.
Ew. God, so God airs at like 2 a.m. for them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would suck. In the UK, man. Yeah, I assumed. God, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's Game of Thrones airs on Sky Atlantic there. And it airs at 2 a.m., which is just, oh my God. I really feel for the Europeans. That would suck. I would be salty as hell.
Right? Like the show is shot like in Ireland and they show it at 2 a.m. over there.
Yeah, show it. Like, just ignore them, pretty much. Just like, oh, the U.S., yeah.
Oh, the US, how they get bigger market.
They could at least air it like 6. Well, no, I guess, I don't know. Well, what
No,
time would
because
it
they
air in New York? Because Central is
an hour behind
ahead,
them.
hour behind. Okay.
Yeah, so like
So they're
it's
at
airs
9,
at 9.
and then
Yeah,
in
9 there,
California it's
8
7.
here, 7 in like the Colorado-ish area. I
Okay.
don't know mountain time, and then 6 o'clock on
For,
Pacific.
makes sense. Alrighty.
Yep.
Same with Dany walking out. The dragon's opening behind her is one of the best scenes in the series. I mean,
Debatable.
I don't know, best
I thought
scene.
it was
That's a little
badass,
bit
but
much, but it was pretty cool looking. I'll say that much. I don't know, best scenes. I think did John killing Daenerys after I've thought about it enough. That might be. It's one of the saddest scenes I've seen in a bit. But Anyways, hope the rest of you guys, folks, have a good night. We're going to end the stream. I have a video to work on. Hopefully I can get it out by at least 2 a.m. here. Probably not, because HBO will take it down again, and I will have to sit here and smash my head against my computer until it uploads. So look forward to that. Next week we'll also be doing another stream for the documentary, so look forward to that as well. So, and then obviously I'm gonna have to update a bunch of videos on my channel because the season's over. So all Targaryen deaths will be updated, all Stark reunions, all King's death, all Hound death kills, all that will be updated. Not this week, but soon. So, alrighty. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and bye. Cole, if you want to say bye, say bye.
Bye.
That's a terrible bye. Okay, bye.